Today's Wednesday, September 6, 2017, and you know what time it is.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in today. It is good to be here. Appreciate everybody's understanding and not doing the show last week. Last week at this time, I was actually in a hotel room in Missoula, Montana, and I was basically getting ready to take my son out to breakfast and then come home on a plane because he is off to college, and very difficult thing to do considering how far he is, about 24 hours away via car, and much closer via plane. But yeah, it was a tough thing to do, do, but he's going to do great. And one of the crazy things that was going on in Montana last week was the forest fires. There are fires kind of burning out of control to some extent, and it is smoky everywhere. I mean, there's an air quality hazard alert that's going on there. So you couple that with, Hurricane Harvey and Irma that's coming towards the coast. It's just nuts. If you could just push some of that water up into Montana, put those fires out, it'd be a much better place. But it's good to be back. Didn't get a chance to do the show last week. Was no cell service really whatsoever. Any ability? I didn't have any ability to do a show and put it together. So here nor there. That's what it was. So here we are this week. Those of you who listen, part of the Elevator Radio Show family, our industry folks and friends, we are thinking about you in Houston. We hope that you are doing okay. I know that some of you have been stranded in your homes, surrounded by water, but all in all are doing okay. If there's anything that we as an industry can do for you, and please let us know. Send me an email, tom.seibert, SYBERT, @cjanderson.com, and I'll do my best to get the word out. It's been humbling to see the outpouring of support in the Chicagoland area. I know in my neighborhood they've had some, or my area, they've had some trucks with collections go down to Houston. Hopefully that material and those goodies, those donated goodies, will be used by those that most need it. I encourage you, if there's anything you can do, if you can squeeze some money out of your bank account to donate to the relief efforts. I do have a link that ranks the best or the top 40 nonprofit types of organizations. It's in the show notes, so I don't have an actual link in the news article links, but maybe what I'll do is I'll put that up there. It doesn't have to always be the Red Cross. There are lots of different entities that will maximize the dollars that you donate, and the reality is, after listening to the old FEMA director get interviewed, I think over the weekend, it was very apparent that the federal government is there to help, but not necessarily bail out America and those that need it most, and the funds that are going to be available and those who qualify for them is not going to be as great as one might think. And so it's a very difficult road for so many who have lost so much. And obviously, I think 2001, was that the last hurricane that hit Houston and hit it hard? So we're thinking about all of you, and I suspect that we probably will not see some of you who would have been attending the convention next week in Orlando. On top of that, we have a Hurricane Irma that's sliding over, suspected to hit the islands, I think tomorrow or maybe later on today. I'm not quite sure. That is going to wreak some havoc, obviously, on travel to Orlando next week for those of you who are headed there. So let's just cross our fingers. Hopefully it maybe scoots out over the ocean or takes a different path and doesn't affect travel too much for many of us or do the damage that they are suspecting it's going to do. Because when I looked at the weather forecast for next week, it literally was 30-mile-an-hour winds on Wednesday or Thursday, and just it's gonna be not too easy. Unfortunately, we'll just do the best that we can, and hopefully, we, like I said, doesn't ramp up to a hurricane category 6 by the time we all get down there. So only time will tell, and nobody can be an exact predictor of these things. But this thing is big, so be careful, and let's hope that the damage that's caused is not as great as what they are projecting. Next week we will not have a show. It's going to be a busy week at the conference. The EESF fundraiser, where they're going to do the cornhole toss or the bag oak toss, is going to be Monday night. There's a lot of stuff going on, obviously, and it's one of those deals where the opportunity to have a little bit of free time is typically used to just rest. It's just a long day on the floor. I look forward to many of you who are going to stop by and say hi. I encourage you to do that. I'll be at the C.J. Anderson booth, and I don't know what that number is offhand, but feel free to stop by and say hi. I'd love to chat with you on what's going on in your neck of the woods. So without further ado, we are going to get into the show notes and have you out of here no time. So up next, the news of the week.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
Okay, first news article of the show. I did post this article link last Thursday, a day after I got back, and still there's no news regarding the missing woman who reportedly called out from a hotel indicating that she was trapped in an elevator with water rushing in. I do not understand why it takes so long to literally find this woman, and I have a feeling it has more to do with probably power being out, A, and B, floodwaters being as high as they are. I suspect that's the thing. There apparently, according to the report, there's an indication that one of the elevators has not been searched as of yet, and I think we as an industry have to rethink how flooding can affect, obviously, elevator systems, and in making sure that safety is the priority here. I mean, considering how devastating this hurricane was, as of, I think, August 30th, 2017, 6:10 p.m., the fatality count was about at least 38 deaths that have been confirmed, but I suspect that number is definitely going to rise if it hasn't already. So, and once they find this once they find, hopefully, Jill Rennick, let's just see if we can take some steps to ensure that in the event of a hurricane, people understand, or elevators are taken out of service and parked on the top floor until further notice, to be honest with you, because I don't really think there's any other way you can do this than that. So, and there's pit float devices out there that will sense water in the pit, and I encourage you to consider that anywhere there's a possibility of a hurricane, so that the event of a drowning or an elevator drowning does not happen anytime soon. This is the second one. First one, I believe, was in 2001, and while steps were taken, and perhaps maybe even those devices that have been installed, those pit float devices that have been installed in pits, probably or could have prevented, or probably most likely had prevented elevators from running when the pits are flooded. It's just good common sense, obviously. So as soon as we find out more information on that, we'll definitely report that on the show. Okay, Washington Monument will have a new elevator system in screening area when it reopens in 2019. This is a Washington Post article. We did cover this a while ago. I wonder, does anybody have any information that relates to what exactly was inadequate or not working with the old one? I know there were some information or some articles shared that noted that it was they kept having issues with it. But I'm just curious to know if anybody has information on what perhaps was the root cause of why the elevator that was installed did not work. What's cool about this is that the money for the rehab was donated by philanthropist, businessman David M. Rubenstein, and he gave $7.5 million to help fund repairs after the earthquake damaged the monument in 2011. He's also been a major contributor to other projects in the Washington area, which is awesome. So, people with money, it's so great to see them giving back, and I'm sure he probably gives back on a much larger, scale in other parts of his life, which I think is a great thing to do when you have more money than you probably need. So, but anyway, I'm just curious. Anybody know what the improvements are going to be, what they're going to put in that's going to make it more of a durable system? Okay, next news article, another Washington Post piece that has surveillance video that shows a man firing shots down an escalator. They did catch this gentleman, and he was allegedly charged with allegedly doing this. Kind of scary, and it's the world we live in is a wonderful place sometimes, isn't it? Yeah. So just good to hear that they caught the guy, or they caught the suspect, I should say. Okay, next news article. If you have any college or university campus customers out there, if you maintain them, please do not. Do whatever you can to prevent these kind of things from happening. Apparently, in Chico State University, resident hall. Oh boy, jeez, that scared me. Okay, I'm gonna get off this before it jumps and blows stuff in my ear and blasts me out of here. Anyway, the long and short of it is 30 students jammed into an elevator, and with one of those pranks where you try to fit as many people into a car or whatever at the drive-in movie theater. And yes, I'm old enough I'm not old enough to remember doing that, but I'm old enough to remember a drive-in theater, I guess I should say. But yeah, it's the good news is that nobody was hurt. And do not overload elevators. This is important. I swear to you, I don't know how many more signs we need in the world, but if we need to put signs on elevator doors in colleges and university campuses to prevent people from doing this, let's do it. Because some of those older elevators that do not have unintended movement devices on them, we could see another situation that occurred in Ohio back a while ago. So anyway, just not good. Another not-so-good story coming from the Ottawa Citizen. Responders rescue maintenance worker crushed under elevator. Ouch. I'm so glad this man is okay. But look at the photos here. They literally had to cut through the wall to get to help a 30-year-old technician or inspector that was trapped underneath the elevator. He had crushing injuries, to his chest and legs, but he is going to be okay, thank goodness. But yeah, safety is number one here. It doesn't matter what country you're in, obviously. It's very scary. I'm glad he's going to be okay. Still scary. Next news article, CEA meeting, the Chicago Elevator Association meeting is tomorrow night, and it is going to be held at the Clubhouse in Oak Brook, Illinois. Peely is going to be presenting at that event. I am supposed to be at my son's night in the classroom, and I try to avoid that like the plague. So we'll see if I can get out of it this year. I only have 2 kids in high school, but my wife is typically the one that tells me that I don't do anything, or it's always her doing stuff. And when I show up, it's like, oh, you are married to somebody. Anyway, so I may be at that. I may not be. I'm not quite sure. So I will try to get there as best I can. Next article, dailymail.co.uk has some video and link, and all I can say is I don't know where the dailymail.com gets their articles from. I hate to even link them up because I feel as if they are simply these types of articles that make you want to, they just drive ad revenue to them, because it's just shocking and whatever. But the reality is that this is an incident that occurred where a toddler on a little push trike deal basically rode it down the escalator, and I don't know where this happens or how it could happen, but it did, and broke his nose. So, 3-year-old. It's just terrifying. I don't. It's an Indian shopping mall. So, and in India, I don't think the rules, and you can watch the video. It's if you like. I'm trying to get out of here. But yeah, this is kind of scary. But again, I think these are videos that they just kind of regurgitate. I got another one coming up pretty soon as well. Okay, great article here. Great press release on August 20th, 2017. Members of the ERRC, or Elevator Riders Riding Club, attended the MNM Riding Club annual benefit in support of the Cancer Support Center. This is a memorial ride for fallen police officers. Hundreds of riders were in attendance, and plenty of sunshine and fun was had by all. The benefit ride raised a considerable amount of money for the center. Very cool that ERRC members participated in this event and support of a great cause. I agree with that. I think some of the cancer support centers, we have one by our house up in where I live, are awesome. They offer a lot of the services for free, and for anybody who's battling cancer, family members, it's a vital resource that they do just on their own, and I think it's awesome. So great job, guys and gals, on supporting that and making a difference in your community, and also in many other people's lives who need that kind of support. Need support, not that kind of support, but okay. I'm gonna try to get out of that. Apologize for that. I'm gonna let everybody watch this. I don't know how the New York Post is posting this, but again, I think it might be one of those ad revenue driver type deals. Geez, people of Walmart. Anyway, so check it out. This is another incident where an escalator is running, okay, and then appears there is plywood that is covering a open panel. And then this woman falls into the escalator, into the front of the escalator. I can't believe she's okay, but she is okay. And thank goodness for that. But again, another China incident. There's not a lot on it other than the video. And again, if we as a country, or we as the internet, or we as the world don't even report on, the details of of an article or an accident or whatever, and just post videos. God, I am really, it's sometimes difficult enough to read some of the articles that are posted that have little information and attempt to appear as if it's its own news article. But now there's 2 articles or 2 pieces or 2 links in today's show that literally show that perhaps maybe the news is shifting towards this video, stuff that's not exactly newsworthy whatsoever, but it's kind of masked as news, as the New York Post shows it. So, and it's scary. If that's the direction we're going, man, I don't know if I want to be part of the internet anymore. To be honest with you, I don't know. Okay, the Massachusetts Elevator Safety Association, their meeting is going to be held September 19th, and due to a conflict with the National Convention, Joseph Thompson, Brug Lifting, is going to be presenting. And then on October 10th, Mike Byrne from Avere will also be speaking there. And then November 14th, Matt Elevator will be presenting, and then the 12th is their holiday party. So add those to your calendar. And as always, support your local associations as best that you can. They are truly trying to make a difference in the industry and the world that we all work in. Okay, next week is the NAC convention. Yoo-hoo! Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's the 68th Annual Convention and Exposition in Orlando, Florida. Anyway, they do have a notice up regarding possible inclement weather. They will be providing updates if something should change. But yeah, I'll be flying out on Monday. Looking forward to it. It's always a busy 4 days, and and it's just a whirlwind. It's exhausting. I'm looking forward to the following weekend, to be honest with you. And sometimes we need just to think ahead and get forward. But I'm looking forward to seeing so many people and talking with a lot of you out there about all sorts of stuff. Okay, Wisconsin Elevator Symposium is also right on the heels of the NAC conference. If you haven't registered for that, make sure you get over and do that. That will be end of September, 28th through 29th, and that is, I think, the following week or the week, I don't know, before. But it's at a great venue. Looking forward to being there, and it's an event many people enjoy going to and getting their QEI credits. And the last news article of today's program, the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation has a cutout program. If you guys have kids or had kids, the Flat Stanley program is one of those where it encouraged reading and literacy. And the idea is that you read this book, and it's a book about Flat Stanley and how he goes out in the world, and you're supposed to color him and cut him out and show, take him with you. Well, the Safety Riders also have their own activity packet where you can go ahead and really just go to town, color these guys in, the guy and the gal, Safety Riders, and basically take them with you. So if you've got little kids, please share this with them. I'm going to go show a little boy. Let's see here, EESF.org. Bear with me one moment. This is pretty cool. I look forward to finding out where the Safety Riders go and what they are going to be up to. So maybe I'll even take them with me on my trip. So you can see them colored in there. And then the idea is that you share them and then link them up to Facebook or do a hashtag, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Anyway. All right, well, that's going to do it for the show, everybody. As always, I want to thank you for tuning in today. It has been my absolute pleasure to bring the show to you. Looking forward to seeing many of you next week. Those of you in Houston, if you need anything, let me know. I will get the word out. And then those of you traveling to Orlando next week, be careful, have safe travels, and we will see many of you next week. So everybody take care. Have a great rest of the week. Be safe out there, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks. If not, we'll see you in Orlando. Take care. Bye-bye.